Stories can transform your communication and your leadership. I've got a 3-step process for becoming a better storyteller. You know, stories are like the ocean that we swim in. And just like fish swim, we've got to practice and start telling more and more stories. Yes, you can do this. Here's my 3 steps for telling stories. Number 1, you gotta start with a purpose. There's a reason why you're telling this story to this audience at this time. What do you want to accomplish? Write it down on paper, just 1 or 2 sentences, no more. This will force you to stay focused. Now moving on to step number 2. Know the difference between description and actions. Descriptions tell us about something, but it's from a distance, while action grabs our attention and brings us into the story. Allow your audience to feel what you are feeling. Introduce your audience to your characters, again, not with descriptions, but with actions. Instead of saying he was frustrated, consider saying something like he hit his head against a stone wall and then did it again. Now that will bring your character alive. Now don't be afraid of struggle. Make your story real. Your audience is very well acquainted with struggles. They'll identify with you in the story. Instead of saying, oh, he was sad, you might say, he collapsed in tears as if a family member had died. You know, actually, when you think about it, stories are like movies, word movies, picture by picture. We show our audience the action, the heartache, and yes, the joy. Connect the audience into your resolution. Show them what has happened. Is there a lesson to be learned? Make it clear. That brings us right back to our original purpose for the story. Remember, good stories are like movies, word movies. Well, now we have a story. We've written it. It's all down on paper. And the work of editing begins, step number 3. And I like to encourage people to remember the KISS principle. Maybe you've heard of it. KISS. Keep it simple and sincere. I use it all the time. It works by asking questions of yourself and your story. For example, is my story too long? Does it have too much complexity? Often they do. It'll need to be shortened. Does my story move from scene to scene with a direction, or is it wandering about? Keep getting our audience confused about what we're doing and saying. Don't wander. Keep it clear. Bring your audience along with you. Can I replace descriptive words with more action pictures and metaphors? Well, do it. That'll make your story so much better. Are the details important to the story? If you can say yes, well, include them. But if you say no, then cut them out. You don't want to have a lot of details that don't add much to the story. Does my story have an audience connection? This is so important. Will they understand the meaning? Make sure they do. Always take time to edit. It's so important. I often edit 3 or 4 times when I make one of these videos. Your goal is to have your good idea become a powerful story, energizing and inspiring others for action. So there you have it, my suggestions. Now it's your turn to take time to adapt these ideas and make them your own. Start writing stories, sharing stories, making them the foundation of your leadership. Now here's an extra idea. I think that creating a story file can be a big help. Whenever you see something happening in everyday life, in your work, you jot down a few sentences and slip it into a folder, an envelope, or a special notebook. Soon that will become your go-to place for story ideas. When you need a story for a presentation, for a grant proposal, whatever situation, you have a place where you have tons of story ideas. I'd love to see some of your story ideas, just a few sentences, in the comments section below. Why not share a few with us? Next time, I'm going to share a powerful tool that will save time and transform your creative thinking. Consider subscribing so you won't miss it, okay? Well, thanks for watching. I'm Judd Dolphin, and this is Leadership for Social Change. Here you'll find ideas, new ideas, to use in your own community.